Hey everyone, how's it going? So I really wanted to make a video focusing on episode 10's ending because it was actually pretty crazy and I just haven't had the time over the last couple of days because of everything Rick related that's come out. And I mean, obviously I'm going to be talking about that, it's Rick Grimes. We've been waiting for any Rick Grimes news for how long? And then a bunch of stuff came out over, I guess since Sunday. So that took up a bunch of my time. But now that things are settling a little bit here, I think we can actually talk about episode 10's ending. Tomorrow I will be doing my Discord Q&A, so I already asked for a bunch of your guys' questions on Discord, so I'll do that tomorrow. If there's enough questions, maybe I'll do 2 videos, we'll see. And then on Thursday, Friday, we'll focus a lot on episode 11 and whatnot. And I guess if anything else comes out regarding any of the other shows, Fear the Walking Dead, Tales of the Walking Dead, and even Rick Grimes stuff, there seems to be an announcement coming soon. So, I don't know what they mean by soon. Is it like this weekend or is it during Comic-Con in July? Basically just sort of be on alert because there could be Rick Grimes stuff coming really at any point. And then, episode or Saturday night going into Sunday morning, I'm going to be live on Twitch. And then, we'll do a live Q&A again as we await episode 11 and just see what more, comes of the story. And if they are teasing any more CRM stuff, like right now, I'm not really looking for the CRM stuff, but I am, I'm interested in terms of how they set up some of the Rick stuff. But obviously the Commonwealth, that's the main story. That's the thing I'm most interested in right now anyways. And so if you haven't followed me on Twitch yet, the link is down below. The Twitch channel name is Appetite for the Dead. And also, if you are new to the channel and you want more Walking Dead content like this, then make sure to hit subscribe. There's a lot to talk about here. So obviously this will contain spoilers for episode 10, right? I think that's pretty obvious. But Rosita found a secret room at the end of episode 10. And at first, it does kind of seem like, obviously there's signs of a rebellion forming. And it is teasing the next arc in the comics, right? Like that's sort of what happens here in the Commonwealth is that there is this rebellion that happens, a bunch of protests, the people rise, and basically they want to remove Pamela Milton from power and they want change. They want the workers of the Commonwealth. They want people to be treated much more fairly because there's a very, very clearly distinct social class system there. And it just kind of makes no sense considering the state of the rest of the world, right? And so Rosita finds this. She finds that there's a secret room here at the Commonwealth, and she discovers that there's a lot of people against this place. And, at this point here, we're about 33 days in, and, things have seemed really good. But obviously now Rosita is discovering this. And there seems to be, as well, growing concerns within Pamela's circle that, one or a rebellion is forming. There's this movement happening. That it seems like many other residents are planning something. It could be a few thousand. I know they mentioned in episode 10, but Pamela Milton seems to be under the belief that, no, that's not going to happen. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. It's not people just like to say that stuff to scare you. We're all going to be totally fine here, which obviously if you've read the comic, that she's not going to be, but that is what's happening here. So that was introduced there. What I'm really interested in here is that there's different types of imagery, we see our basic Commonwealth stuff. You see the basic quotes, for workers and all of that. But when you look in the back of this one shot, first of all, we see a tank. So that's what, do the Commonwealth have tanks? I guess the Civic Republic do, right? So in that way, that makes a lot of sense. And so if the Commonwealth have tanks, that's a lot. They probably got them from the Civic Republic. At this point, it makes sense. The Commonwealth and CRM know of each other. They have a lot of technology, they have a lot of power. They are both going to be aware of each other. They are clearly, right? The CRM also are just much bigger than the Commonwealth. So obviously they've reached out. Obviously they have probably worked together. And I think that's what we're getting at here. There's this one poster right here that doesn't look like any sort of Commonwealth soldier that we've seen yet, right? This soldier looks a lot like the soldiers in the Civic Republic. To me, anyways, it looks like a Civic Republic pilot or something like that. And I do think that this is a connection right here. And I think that this is our first clue of the CRM appearing here in the final season. Because you got to remember, too, we're seeing the helicopter in the opening credits, right? The helicopter was gone for season 10, and then it made a return for the final season, which everyone was like, that literally made no sense. Why is it back? You combine that with some of Scott Gimple's stuff. And you even add some of the Rick Grimes stuff that has been coming out over the last couple of days. We're clearly going in a certain direction here, right? So this is really interesting. This is one of the first things here, the first signs of something CRM related. And I'm really curious to see where this goes. Rosita is the one to discover this. And I think that means that she's likely going to be one of the many leaders of the rebellion and this protesting of the Commonwealth's ways, right? I do think she's likely going to be, because I don't see her fighting back against this. I just don't. She's somebody who definitely has she has a standard, she has values. She's not going to go and just, serve the Commonwealth just because, like, if she knows something's wrong, she's going to want to change it. She's like that. And that's what I really like about the character. And this also teases a Rosita and Mercer team up. I do think we're going to get that, and I'm really excited to see that. But I also really fear that this is actually teasing, or it's a foreshadowing or a hint anyways, that Rosita's death is coming at some point soon. And so that's the question I have for you guys. Could this result in Rosita's death? You're probably wondering how. What the hell? This makes no sense. Well, if you remember earlier in the season, I think it was episode 3, Rosita mentioned that she kept having dreams of Abraham, and Abraham was warning her of something. That hasn't been addressed yet. I thought it was related to something regarding Gabriel, and that maybe Abraham was sort of warning Rosita that Gabriel is on this path of like destruction, and it might end up getting you or your child killed, or maybe him killed, right? So Abraham was sort of letting Rosita know that something's coming. Well, that's kind of just went away now. And so you see Rosita in a position like this where she's discovering this stuff where it's like, this is scary stuff. Like, Rosita doesn't want to be in a position to know of this and even keep this a secret, because if she keeps this a secret, that could be really bad for her as well. You got to remember, this is a place where it's like, you can't keep secrets like that. You can get in trouble for knowing things like this, right? So I think Rosita discovering this, it's a little scary. It's honestly a little scary, especially when you have very powerful people in this place. And so I wonder if Abraham's warning was about that. If Abraham was just kind of warning her that, like, just don't go in that direction, stay away from that, like, there's something bad can happen. Which leads me to my next point, which is, could Rosita take Dwight's death? A lot of us are predicting Magna and Gabriel, but could Rosita take Dwight's death? And I really do wonder about that. I could totally see Rosita, if she's seeing this, if she's trying to fight for this and fight for this way of life, I could see her having a really big moment later on in the season, and like at the end of part 2, most likely the end of part 2, in which she's put in a very, specific position where she can actually like change something if she, say, gets rid of Pamela Milton or whatever. Basically, she takes Dwight's comic role, and then somebody on our team basically kills her, and it would be really shocking. And obviously, everyone's mind right now is probably going to Gabriel, right? That could be what they're teasing here, because like Gabriel, again, he will do whatever the hell he needs to do. And they've already teased in the past that Gabriel and Rosita's relationship is kind of rocky. I don't really know if there's a lot of love there besides just, like, I don't really know. It seems like they're together just for the sake of being together. I kind of saw a little bit more between Rosita and Sadiq, to be honest. Gabriel and Rosita just, for some reason, doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, they've been fighting a lot. And I don't know, I don't see them together a lot. They seem to be a happier family. But again, I think that's more because of Coco, right? Like, they're sort of doing that for Coco. And I do wonder if this is where we're going, because they got to do a shocking moment. Gabriel has done some really crazy things. And so right now, I think we should all keep an eye out on where Gabriel's going, right? If Gabriel right now is sort of like, okay, I think we should support the Commonwealth, we should actually try really make this work. Then if he was in a place where, say, Rosita was there and Rosita had a gun up to Pamela Milton, I could totally see him doing that, pulling the trigger and killing Rosita, which would be insane. It would be so shocking. But to Gabriel, he's like, well, I'm protecting everybody here. So yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling that they could be going here. It would be really, really brutal, but I think this could be coming. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you think of the fact that Rosita died during the Whisperer Pike scene in the comic, right? She's long outlived her character in the comic. So I think it actually makes some sense. And then maybe you keep Father Gabriel alive, right? So yeah, I'm just going to throw that out there. Obviously, right now, it's just more of a theory. But what do you guys think? Do you think Rosita could be, I guess, the next big death? Do you think that she could actually take Dwight's comic death? And also, I guess, post some more of your reactions about the CRM or I guess any CRM clues in that ending scene there. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.